Good Monday morning to you. Guys, it is almost Q4. It's almost Q4. Can you believe it? This year seriously flew by. Like, I don't know where 2025 went. I was 100% in the mindset of like, I am going to get bored this year. I'm going to be so consistent, get bored this year. We're not going to change anything. We're not going to transition. This is going to be just a really boring, consistent year. And it has been anything but that. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I think a lot of people's words ended up being chaos this year. This was kind of a year of things being a little bit all over the place, a lot of unpredictability, a lot of having to pivot with our businesses, having to kind of figure it out on the fly. And it is now time, believe it or not, to start thinking about 2026. We are about to go into Q4, and we all know that for the apparel industry, Q4 can be really, really hectic. Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals, going into the holidays, doing gift boxes, gift wrapping, whatever it is that you do at your company for this time of the year, it's about to blow up, right? We all know that the last 3 months of the year get a little hectic for us in the industry. So you need to start right now thinking about how to plan out your business for 2026. And the best way to really start that is by auditing your goals from this year. So, what were the goals that you set at the beginning of 2025? Did you hit them? It's almost year end. What do you predict is going to happen over the next 3 months based on historicals that you've had in your company before? Maybe you're just going based on percentages. Maybe you're going based on actual revenue dollars that you've brought in previous years. But this is the time for you to start working on your P&L plan for 2026. And we've talked about this before, but I'm going to reiterate again. This is a great time for you to put together 3 different plans for your business for the upcoming year. Now, what I really recommend is that you go back through your 2025 calendar, take a look at all of the different things that you accomplished, all of the different things that you did. When I go back through my calendar, I'm like, oh yeah, I had that meeting. Oh yeah, that was actually not that far away ago. Like, holy cow, I actually ran that workshop and it was only a couple of months ago. Or holy cow, we got that client and it feels like we've been with them for a long time, but it was only, a few months ago that we actually came on with them. Things have been moving really fast this year. Number one, that's a really, really good way to celebrate all that you've accomplished in 2025 so that as you're going into 2026 planning, there's a lot of positivity on your mind. Now, if you go back through your 2025 calendar and it's a little bit, misgiving, maybe it's not the best calendar that you went through. Maybe you had a lot of hard meetings. Maybe you had a lot of layoffs. Maybe you had some really tough things going on. This is a good time for you to try to figure out how to make it better for the upcoming year. Now, when you sit down to start looking at your finances for 2026, you can apply a growth goal to your company. So let's say you did $100,000 this year. You can say, I want to grow by 10% next year, which means you want to make $110,000 in 2026. How are you mapping that out in your revenue plan, in your sales plan? How does that go into every single month in 2026? When I sit down and I do my business plans, now I've already done one of my business plans for 2026. I need to do the other 2. So I'm going to take my own advice here and do these in the next week. But the first one that you want to do is based on very realistic data. Like, what do you know will happen in your business in 2026? For example, I know that we're going to retain 5 of our clients. They are going to stay on our books for 2026. One of them will be rolling off in June. The rest will be there for the remainder of the year. And so I know 100% that's like the baseline. That is what I know my company is going to be able to bring in for 2026. I really recommend that you start a budget that way so that you have a very realistic grasp on then, okay, if this is what I know is coming into the business, I know what I can spend. I know what can go out, right? Because you want to stay in the black. You don't want to go in the red every month. So you want to be figuring out, okay, if I'm making $20,000 every month and I'm spending $19,000 every month, that's great. You're profiting $1,000 every month. By the end of the year, you'll have $12,000 in profit. That might not be aligned to your goals at all. That could be way too low. That could be really high. Maybe your company is at a place where going into the red every month is kind of necessary right now because you're trying to spend some money so that you can make money. And that happens to a lot of us. So I don't want you to get discouraged by this practice, but what you can do by knowing what's coming into your business every single month in 2026, you can go ahead and put a spending plan against that and try really, really hard to map it out so that you stay in the black, you stay in the green, you stay in the positive, however you want to say it, for every single month. So that's the first one. I want you to build a business plan based on a very realistic, like this is my baseline for 2026. And then I want you to get really creative. I want you to like do a little meditation. I want you to think about your life goals. I want you to think about that yacht that you want, the dream house that you want, the vacations you want to go on. And I want you to build a holy shit big goals business plan. What do you think you can do? Like, what kind of sales do you think you can make if you went big with your goals, if you went big with your plans, if you all of a sudden made it huge and you were making the kind of money that you dream of making with your company? I want you to put those numbers on paper so you can see how they work. If you are starting to make $100,000 a month, what would you be spending your money on? Who would you be hiring? What kind of additional ads might you be running? What kind of services would you pay for? There's all kinds of ways to break down a budget. So if you're making $100,000 a month, you're probably not spending the same way you were when you were just making $20,000 a month. But it's still important for you to not spend more than that $100,000 a month. So now you can dream. Now you can think about, oh gosh, I would hire someone to come in and do my product development for me. I don't want to do that for myself anymore. I would hire someone to take my social media marketing and my marketing strategy off my plate. I don't want to do that anymore. This is how much I would offer to pay them. This is their hourly rate. I know when I would want to hire them. I want you to think really, really big. This is really important for you to keep the vision and the dream of your business alive. It's important to have these big dreams on paper so that you can see and you can start driving towards some of those goals. So now we're just not playing in like, this is very realistic land. We're playing in like dreamland, right? We're looking forward to goals that like we really, really want to accomplish with our brands. And when we put those things on paper, believe it or not, we start to make plans for them and we start to work toward them. And then when there's a strategy in place, a plan in place, we start working toward it. We start reaching above and beyond what those realistic goals are. Now, we might not totally reach the dream goals, not quite yet, or not this year, or not every single month, but we do start working toward it. And that makes a huge, huge difference. Okay, the third budget that I want you to do, the third plan that I want you to put together for 2026, and this one's tougher. I don't love doing this one myself, but it is kind of necessary because in the landscape of today, we all went through it in 2025. There is a lot of uncertainty. Tariffs came our way all the time. Global economic shifts came our way all the time. Like, we didn't always know what was happening tomorrow. And so we have to figure out how to build resiliency into our businesses. And so because of that, what I really recommend you do is take a third stab at your budget, a third stab at your business plan, and write out the worst case scenario. What happens if out of the 5 clients that I believe we are going to keep on our books next year, what if 3 of them leave? What if I lose out on that revenue? What if 3 of them go bankrupt? And all of a sudden, I don't have that money to count on anymore. What plans am I putting in place as the CEO and owner of my company to have contingencies for those kinds of things? What are the hard decisions that I'm going to have to make as the owner of my company if I lose those 3 clients? I might have to let some people go. I might no longer be able to pay for all of the little like apps and subscriptions and services that I have that help keep automations flowing and things like that in the background of my business. I might not be able to buy lunch when I go out with my team. We might all have to spot for our own lunch personally. There's a lot of different ways that you can start looking at that. And so by having a realistic plan, by having a big goals plan, and by having kind of a worst case scenario plan on your books, you should be very, very set and ready to go for 2026. So this is the time to do it right now. If you start planning and you start getting into Q4, when everything is going to get really hectic, everything's going to get really, really busy, you are going to run out of time, and then you're going to start 2026 without your plan on paper. And I really don't want that for you. I want you to know now what it is that you're working toward in 2026. And I have a coach who actually says 2026 starts in Q4 of the prior year. So if you believe that and you believe her, then you're starting 2026 right now. And we're going to start with the plan of it. Okay. So again, what I want you to do is your Q4 financial reset for 2026. You're going to be auditing your goals before year end, audit what happened in 2025. And then you're going to be putting your 3 plans together for 2026, a realistic plan, a big goal, a big dream plan, and then also a worst case scenario plan. And you're going to be set. I'm super excited for you. Let me know how it goes. If you liked this episode of Money Mondays, please share it with somebody, and I'll see you next week. Have a great week.